If food supply chains were disrupted for several months, many households would quickly realize how dependent they are on external systems. Grocery stores might remain open, yet shelves would not look the same. Prices could gradually increase over time. This is not an extreme scenario. It has already happened in different regions when transportation slowed or production faced challenges. The important question is not fear, it is readiness. Over the past century, the world has lost a significant portion of its traditional crop diversity. Many areas now rely on a limited number of large-scale commercial varieties. When systems operate smoothly, this dependence remains invisible. When disruptions occur, the fragility becomes clear. For this reason, more families are turning their attention towards small-scale food independence, beginning with a simple backyard garden. Independence, however, does not mean planting as many random vegetables as possible. The real value lies in strategic thinking. An effective survival garden does not require dozens of crops. It requires carefully selected plants that meet essential human needs and fit local climate conditions. To make those choices wisely, many home food security experts rely on 4 core criteria. The first criterion is caloric and nutritional density. A garden filled only with leafy greens may be healthy, but it may not provide enough energy during periods of heavy physical work. Crops must deliver calories, protein, and essential micronutrients. The second criterion is adaptability and ease of growth. Plants that tolerate cool climates, shifting weather, and moderate care reduce the risk of crop failure. The third criterion is long storage without dependence on electricity. In regions with long winters, food must remain usable for months through natural preservation methods. The final criterion is simple seed saving. When seeds from one harvest can be replanted, the following season a self-sustaining cycle begins. Using these 4 principles, 8 crops have been selected for growing zones 4 and 5 across North America, where winters are extended and growing seasons are shorter. Each crop plays a specific role within a balanced system that provides energy, protein, vitamins, healthy fats, and even soil improvement. When these elements work together, a garden becomes more than a food source. It becomes a foundation for stability and long-term confidence. With the 4 selection criteria clearly defined, the first foundation of a survival garden must be energy. The human body requires calories to maintain body temperature, perform physical labor, think clearly, and recover from daily effort. In normal circumstances, we rarely calculate how much energy we consume because food is readily available. When growing food for greater independence, however, calorie density per square foot becomes a practical consideration. Potatoes are widely recognized as one of the most efficient energy-producing crops. On average, 1 pound of potatoes provides around 350 calories along with the carbohydrates necessary for sustained physical activity. Their value extends beyond calorie count. Potatoes are adaptable and capable of growing in various soil types while tolerating cooler climates. For gardens with limited space, the potato tower method offers a practical solution. By forming a circular structure using wire mesh about 1 meter high, gardeners can layer soil and plant seed potatoes vertically. As the plants grow, additional soil is added, allowing tubers to form at multiple levels. This technique increases yield without expanding ground area. After harvest, potatoes can be stored for several months in a cool, dark, well-ventilated environment such as a root cellar or basement. In slightly warmer areas within the same climate zones, sweet potatoes provide an excellent complementary option. They are rich in energy and particularly high in vitamin A. Sweet potatoes tolerate dry conditions better than many other crops and thrive in sunny environments. After harvesting, they benefit from a curing period in a warm space for several days, which thickens their skins and significantly extends storage life. Winter squash varieties such as butternut or acorn squash add another important layer to the calorie foundation. While their calorie content per pound is moderate, they offer fiber and essential micronutrients that support overall health. Their major advantage lies in storage capacity. When kept in a cool, dry place, winter squash can last 4 to 6 months without refrigeration. Combining potatoes, sweet potatoes, and winter squash creates a balanced energy base that delivers both calories and vital nutrients. Establishing this energy foundation brings stability to the entire system. Once reliable calories are secured, additional crops can focus on protein production and soil improvement, strengthening the garden's long-term sustainability season after season. With a stable calorie foundation established through root crops and winter squash, the next essential step in building a resilient survival garden is securing a reliable source of protein while strengthening the soil itself. Calories fuel daily activity, but protein is necessary to build and maintain muscle support, immune function, and aid recovery after physical work. Even if total energy intake is sufficient, long-term protein deficiency can gradually weaken the body. For this reason, a strategically designed garden must include legumes. Climbing beans are among the most efficient protein-producing crops for small spaces. Varieties such as pole beans or runner beans grow vertically along trellises, fences, or simple wooden frames. This vertical growth conserves valuable ground space, which is especially important in urban or suburban gardens. A single trellis, approximately 2 meters tall, can produce a substantial harvest of dry beans in one growing season. Dry beans contain roughly 15 to 20% protein by weight and can be stored for years when kept in a cool, dry, sealed environment. One of their greatest advantages lies in simplicity. The beans harvested for food are the same seeds used for replanting. By setting aside a portion of the harvest, gardeners ensure their next season's crop without relying on outside seed sources. Peas offer both nutritional and ecological benefits. As legumes, peas have the ability to fix nitrogen from the air into the soil through their root systems. Nitrogen is a key nutrient required for the growth of many other crops. Planting peas early in spring not only provides one of the first fresh harvests of the season, but also enriches the soil naturally. A moderate-height pea trellis can yield several pounds of fresh or dry peas, while simultaneously improving soil fertility without chemical fertilizers. When potatoes, squash, beans, and peas are combined thoughtfully, the garden begins to function as a balanced ecosystem. Traditional companion planting systems such as the Three Sisters approach historically demonstrated how legumes could nourish soil while supporting neighboring plants. Understanding the specific role of each crop transforms the garden from a collection of individual plants into an integrated system. Healthy soil becomes a long-term asset because the productivity of future seasons depends directly on the quality of the soil today. With both energy and protein foundations established, the garden evolves into a regenerative cycle where food sustains the family and crops in turn sustain the soil. Once reliable sources of calories and protein are established through root crops and legumes, the next factor that determines long-term resilience is the ability to store food for extended periods without relying on electricity. In regions with long winters, the gap between harvest seasons can stretch for months. Without proper storage methods, the abundance of summer can quickly turn into waste. Selecting crops that naturally store well is therefore a strategic decision. Spaghetti squash provides a clear example of this advantage. A single plant can produce 5 to 8 squash, and each one can last 6 to 8 months when kept in a cool, dry, dark place. A harvest in early autumn can therefore extend well into late winter or even early spring. Spaghetti squash can also be trained to grow vertically along sturdy trellises or fences, conserving valuable ground space. When fully mature, the hard outer rind acts as a natural protective shell, preserving the interior flesh for months without refrigeration. Zucchini is commonly harvested young for fresh eating, but allowing it to fully mature on the vine changes its role entirely. Mature zucchini grow significantly larger, and their seeds develop completely inside the fruit. At this stage, the whole squash can be stored intact for several months in cool and dry conditions. At the same time, the seeds can be removed, cleaned, and dried for planting the following season. A single crop therefore provides food storage potential and seed security. Paste tomato varieties such as Roma or similar dense flesh types also contribute to long-term storage. Compared to slicing tomatoes with high water content, paste tomatoes are thicker and better suited for drying sauce making or fermentation. Properly dried tomatoes can last for months while retaining flavor and nutrients. Traditional fermentation methods further extend usability without refrigeration. Beyond crop selection, Post-harvest handling plays a crucial role in preservation. Many root crops and squash benefit from a curing period in a well-ventilated space before being transferred to storage. An ideal storage environment is cool, dark, and moderately humid, similar to a traditional root cellar. When suitable crops are combined with proper handling techniques, the productivity of summer can sustain a household throughout winter without dependence on electricity. This natural storage capacity strengthens the calorie and protein foundations already in place, creating a more stable and reliable system season after season. With calories secured through root crops, protein supplied by legumes, and long-term storage ensured by durable vegetables, one essential nutritional element remains. That element is fat. In modern diets, fat is sometimes misunderstood, yet within a self-sufficient system it plays a critical role. The human body relies on dietary fats to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A and vitamin E, to maintain steady energy and to support hormonal balance. During outdoor labor or colder conditions, fat becomes an efficient and sustained energy source that helps preserve body warmth and endurance. Oilseed sunflowers stand out as one of the few garden crops capable of providing meaningful fat content. A single mature sunflower head can yield approximately 1 pound of seeds. On average, 1 pound of sunflower seeds delivers about 2,600 calories along with natural fats and protein. This makes sunflowers a dense energy source grown on relatively modest space. Sunflowers thrive in full sunlight, require roughly 90 days to mature, and can reach heights between 1 and 2 meters. When the back of the flower head turns brown and seeds are fully developed, the head can be cut and hung in a dry, ventilated area to finish drying naturally. Seeds stored in their shells can remain viable for up to 1 year when kept in a cool and dry location. Sesame and amaranth offer additional options for increasing dietary fat and diversity. Sesame plants are compact, yet produce oil-rich seeds packed with energy. Amaranth contributes both nutritious grain and edible leaves, adding flexibility to meal preparation. While not every garden must include all these crops, recognizing that fat can be produced at home strengthens the overall resilience of the system. When calories from roots and squash combine with protein from beans and fats from seeds, the resulting diet becomes more balanced. Maintaining equilibrium between energy, protein, and fat supports long-term health rather than focusing on a single nutrient category. Another crucial consideration involves seed selection. Traditional heirloom varieties allow gardeners to save seeds year after year without losing quality. Preserving and replanting these seeds helps maintain biodiversity and reduces reliance on commercial seed markets. Careful seed saving transforms the garden into more than a seasonal project. It becomes an enduring regenerative resource. By integrating fat-rich crops into the design, the nutritional structure of the garden approaches completeness, bringing the system closer to a truly self-sustaining model. When every component is placed with intention, a survival garden becomes more than a collection of individual crops. It transforms into a complete system. The 8 selected plants, guided by the 4 golden criteria, now form a clear structure. Root crops and winter squash provide the energy foundation. Legumes supply protein and enrich the soil. Long-storing vegetables extend food availability through winter. Fat-rich seed crops complete the nutritional balance. Viewed together, each crop serves a defined purpose while supporting the others. For this system to function effectively, seasonal planning is essential. In early spring, as soon as the soil can be worked, peas can be planted because they tolerate cooler temperatures. As the weather gradually warms, potatoes and climbing beans are added to the garden beds. Mid-spring to early summer becomes the appropriate time to plant squash and sunflowers once the risk of frost has passed. Summer focuses on steady care, balanced watering, and attentive but natural pest management. When autumn arrives, harvesting and post-harvest handling become priorities. Part of the yield is consumed fresh, while the remainder is cured dried or placed into cool storage spaces for long-term use. Throughout this cycle, seed saving acts as a continuous thread. Allowing certain squash to fully mature, reserving a portion of dry beans, or selecting the healthiest tomatoes for seed extraction establishes regeneration for the following year. Seeds are carefully dried, labeled, and stored in dry conditions where they can remain viable for several seasons. This practice not only reduces expenses, but also strengthens independence and resilience. Some may wonder about corn, a well-known staple crop. Corn can grow successfully and store for extended periods. However, to produce meaningful caloric yield, it generally requires more space than many small gardens can provide. In limited areas, the previously selected crops often deliver higher nutritional density per square foot. Prioritizing crops that maximize output within constrained space ensures efficient use of available land. Starting does not require perfection or complexity. A few rows of potatoes, a simple bean trellis, several squash plants, and a line of sunflowers can establish a solid beginning. With each passing season, experience builds and the system becomes more refined. When spring returns and you open an envelope of seeds saved from the previous harvest, placing them into the soil and watching new growth emerge confirms that a regenerative cycle is in motion. At that point, the garden represents more than food production. It becomes a source of confidence, stability, and thoughtful preparation for the future.